find it. It'll be up under the sofa. So man's allowed to sweep and vacuum and all that crap.
It goes with my rucksack. Mess with it. So every time I throw something over there to put in the bag, you gotta go and touch it. For sure. Stay your ass up there too. I see you looking. Hey, what's going on, guys? Go ahead and get into this reading. Something's going on because I can feel it. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm good with it. So we're going to start off with Ancient and Modern Brits, Volume 1. I'm giving up. bag, you know, your gray man bag, your bag, the bag that you should always have prepped. I would say work on it for a week or two. Go and check some people's tutorials out and know exactly what you should have in there. I've got all my first aid cat packs. I have them in different places. Jace. Well, you're seeing a couple of the ones I carry with my my plate carrier and stuff. But on my web belt and all that. But I also have other ones. I have 2 emergency ones for the truck. I have the one for the bathroom, the one downstairs in the kitchen. I have 2 of those, a black and a brown bag. I just ordered another tourniquet, so I'll have quite a few. But the bags you should really have, make sure that you have, let me see, let me show you real quick. I'm going to show you the bag, because there's a lot of stuff, and that would take a couple hours, all right? Oh, it's downstairs, isn't it, Buck? Oh, let's use this one. Let's use 2 of these. Well, the other ones are downstairs, too. Remember that one you got all caught up in, you little knucklehead son? Yeah, I bet you won't get caught up in it again. But knucklehead. You was a knucklehead. You was a knucklehead. I called you a knucklehead. Okay? This one's out of the plastic. We'll use this one out. This is outside. This is outside the plastic, but I have a bunch of them that are still in the plastic. Cheap. All right. Go to Flagstaff. I go to the medical emporium, pick them up. You want to have these. You also want to have chest compressions and the what you call it, if somebody gets some like shotgun pellets and you want to cover it up after you put like liquid scan, you remove the pellets with the forceps or the tweezers, the proper kind, the curved one. I forget what they're called. It's a little bag I have that has all those little medical instruments in it, even the little scalpels. All right. Have your alcohol wipes, liquid skin. Stop clot or blood stop, or pick those up. They were pretty cheap years ago. I don't know what they cost now. Never opened them. So even though they have a shelf life, they're actually good 40 to 60 years. So they say. So get these, get the short ones. I always say I like the 2, 3-inch, 6-inch. They're good to have. Get a waist wound and it's not life, threatening. Make sure that you have some. They come in a pack. I forget how many they come in a pack. I could probably look at mine, but for the second chest wounds, remember, you don't leave a pouch. You don't leave it like a t-shirt pocket. You close it all the way off, especially if it has an exit wound. If it has an exit wound, then it's a little different, but look into it. All right? So I've been working on that. I'm always working on it. It's like never-ending story. I keep a certain radio in my camel, which I always keep gauze and band-aids and stuff like that. Get some zip ties too, some full-length ones. If you're out of tourniquets, it might hurt. Hell, the person, if the arm's mangled, they're probably going to lose it anyway. Zip ties. Crank it on there. Take your 2 pieces of sticks. Hold the sticks on there. Because I'm talking about the long zip ties, y'all, for plumbing and stuff like that. The rubber and all that. If you don't have the metal clamps, the temporaries. And I'm talking about 2 sticks, and you pull on that thing until the blood stops from the main artery. Okay? Yeah. The picture you see there is World War I. A lot of those people were killed, and even when they returned home, because they had to be gotten rid of, because they knew our old world history. And in order to rewrite history, you have to murder a lot of folk. And that's what a lot of people don't research. We got all these pan-fribble-dibbles, pan-Africans, and these goofies who don't know nothing about it. And I don't throw out the heavy guns per se when it comes to these debating monkeys and monolithic nothings. So, like I said, I wish a mug would debate me because I eat them alive. I'm not into debates. I read all of James Baldwin's. I read a lot of people's books because it reminds you that this is not a game. And most people talk as if they're really, really smart, per se, the acronym. I'm sorry. If you're talking about a whole lot of made up stuff with errors and yeah, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. Because this is what the other side would say to that. Well, we believe that what you're saying is nonsense too. Yeah, problem is I have resources and I have the things that you probably came across that can back it up. That's not based on scripted ideologies and false narratives and everything. You know what I mean? So anyway, we got a lot of older sisters looking at younger guys. You know, I'm so tired of you old broke back ass beakies. I don't like saying the B at work, but some of y'all straight up. And you are platonic in the relationship of the false ideology and the worthless painted narrative of a fictional picture that's no more than Ren and Stimpy and stick figure. Like, stop being so aerodynamically dumb. Kids ain't even grown up yet. Well, y'all haven't either, some of you. Not you specific. There'll be those who come along and they'll be like, hey, somebody tell him about me? It's not like it's not known. And you dudes, funding your nephews, your daughters. I can't say what I want or like to say on here, what needs to be said. But know this, I better not ever come across you in my presence. And if I get the inkling of a hair standing up, a goosebump, they call it, that's not what they are, but and I make eye contact with you, you better know I know something. If you don't have no running legs, you better get something in. So let's go ahead and we're going to send this off and get into this read. Because I am tired of this so-called world they've created. And I am really I'm kind of mind screwed on this melting pot of insignificant individuals who do these gross things. Real issue with you. All right? So if you're doing it, I would advise you to stop. Because when you think nobody's watching, there's a lot of things watching. Stop being stupid. Let's go ahead and get into Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, by David Mack Ritchie. Y'all thought I was just going to stop. I haven't read for a while because y'all being stubborn. I'm not going to be stubborn. I can be very stubborn. And I was like, come on, guys. But anyway, I read a little more in this book. It is very, very interesting. I expressed to y'all I actually had the PDF, so. And it was a joy for our brother Kiramio to send these to me. I always tell people, take their time. He said he's going to send more. No rush. Okay? Because plenty of books. I don't know. The lighting okay? I know it's kind of... But, it gets dark around 1700 for those who are going by that time. So let's get into the Orientals and the Scythians. So we already started, and this is chapter 2. Okay? This is the second page. Now rehash it. The Jews, the Phoenicians, the Chaldees, okay, are all stated to have visited our islands at various periods, okay, and perhaps to have colonized them. It is the delight of one school of Gaelic writers to discover many affinities between the Hebrew and Gaelic tongues. Now you might understand why I called that individual I was talking about a fraud. Anywho. And they weren't like the TRU of Mississippi, the TRU of Ecuador and Peru, the TRU of Eastern Ireland. They didn't just disappear. They were slaughtered and no longer before they came here. And that's the facts. Anyway, let's carry on, okay? Now, but the claims of the Jew and the Phoenician to be regarded as ancient Britons are shadowy, though, not uncertain. The Scythians, however, have a clearer right to be so regarded, for most antiquaries agree in holding the Scythians as the ancestors of the ancient Britons. The word Scythian is, remember I showed you pictures of original Scythians? Many coins out there, y'all. Is, however, delightfully vague and is becoming our or is already out of date. It was used to include all the nations to the north and east of the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Wouldn't the Black Sea be the Baltic? And indeed, all the unknown North European races and some of the philologers derive it from sedtion, to shoot. Figure that out. Thereby giving it the meaning of bowman or archer. But even as to this, there seems to be some difference of opinion. Like we say a bow and arrow, when it's actually a reed and stick. Or knife, flying knife. The late Lord, I'm thinking about swords now. The late Lord Strangford, I was watching a documentary in Japan on making, anyway, I'll share that later. The late Lord Strangford, who is indeed my authority for the derivation just given, says of them, some of the Scythian peoples may have been Anarian, Alophilic, Mongolian. Some are demonstrably Aryan, and not only that, but Iranian as well, as is best shown in a memoir read before the Berlin Academy this last year. Now, do you think that means pale skin? The evidence having been first indicated in the rough by Shafrik, the Slavonic antiquary, coins, glosses, proper names, and inscriptions prove it. Another writing on this subject says, ethnographers are not unanimous in respect to the ethnic position of the Scythians. Bach, Nebula, and many others set themselves down as Tatars. I want you to think as I'm reading, who would have the need of rehashing all these histories but a new people? Where history has been lost too. Or having to know how your body motivates and operates and moves. I mean, think about it. Kids go to school, and what do they give them for lunch? Little youngins. Coca-Colas, Sunkist, that nasty, what's that D stuff? That, like, that old, remember that Sunny D? That's why they have Ritalin sitting over there. But them kids are so energetic. And stop poisoning our children. And mothers and fathers, stop allowing them to drink that crap and that nasty 3/4 sugar apple juice. Ain't no apples in it. Okay? Anyway, but Humboldt, Grimm, so remember that. Donaldson and others maintain both on physical and philosophical, I'm so tired of these words right here, philological, okay, grounds, the ethnic affinity with the Aryans. Rawlinson, in his essay on the ethnic affinities of the nations of Western Asia, Herodotus, Volume 1, page 523 and on, distinctly ranges the Scythians among Tatar nations. He even maintains that a Tatar element is manifest in the oldest records of the Armenians, Cappadocians, oh my God. Susian, it's like Susian, it's a weird word, y'all. It's Susianians, something like that, Susianans, okay? And Chaldeans of Babylon. In a latter essay on the ethnography of the European Scyths, Herodotus, and I ordered that book too, what's in there? Volume 3, page 158. I actually ordered the book because of this. He argues as distinctly that this nation was Indo-European. And F. Muller, an Ashkenaz, is of the opinion that some of the Scyths were Ural-Altaic and others Aryan. Novera Expedition Ethnography, page 145. I believe there's pictures in there too. It is thus apparent that the term Scythian is too comprehensive to be of much use, and that it is surely a negative rather than a positive term, much like our Indian or the Turanian, or of modern ethnologists, used to comprehend nomads and barbarians of all sorts as racist. Nevertheless, since everyone says that some, at any rate, of the original races of the British Islands were Scythians, it behooves us to look a little closer into their history and characteristics. From Lempriere, we learn this. The Scythians were divided into several nations or tribes. They had no cities, but continually changed their habitations. They inured themselves to bear labor and fatigue. They despised money, lived upon milk, and covered themselves with the skins of their cattle. He adds that the virtues seemed to flourish among them, but in opposition to this, or more correctly, in support of the statement that the Scythians comprehended several nations or tribes. He goes on to say this. Some authors, however, represent them as a savage and barbarous people who fed upon human flesh, drank the blood of their enemies, and used the skulls of travelers as vessels, in their sacrifices to their gods. Now, the Scythians made several eruptions upon the more southern provinces of Asia, especially BC 624, when they remained in possession of Asia Minor for 28 years, and we find them at different periods extending their conquests in Europe and penetrating as far as Egypt. Now, in the first centuries after Christ, they invaded the Roman Empire with the Sarmatians. Of these Sarmatians, you remember that movie King Arthur and the Sarmatians? All right. Evidently, a kindred race, Lempriere says that they were a savage, uncivilized nation, often confounded with the Scythians, naturally warlike and famous for painting their bodies to appear more terrible in the field of battle. They were well known for their lewdness and passed among the Greeks and Latins by the name of barbarians. At last, increased by the savage hordes of Scythia, under the barbarous names of Huns, Vandals, Goths, Alans, etc. They successfully invaded and ruined the empire in the 3rd and 4th centuries of the Christian era. They lived, this story right here, if you think of something, believe half of what you hear and nothing of what you're visually seeing. They lived upon plunder and fed upon milk mixed with the blood of horses. These Scythians, then, who under various names and possessed of many different qualities of character and of nature, covered the whole north of Europe and a large portion of Asia in the days of the Romans, seen in the main to identify themselves with the Uyghurians, spoken by Mr. Aren't those the ones that the Chinese were murdering who became Muslim? Which they dwelt. I could be wrong. Excuse me. Spoken by Mr. Howarth, as quoted in the foregoing chapter. Now the area in which they dwelt and also their era agree, and the brief descriptions quoted also tally with each other. The chronicler Rignon describes the Hungarians as living by fishing and hunting, and as fighting with bows and arrows. That is, according to Lord Strangford, they were Scyths. The ancient Hungarians sacrificed their faces, that is, tattooed themselves, and the Sarmatians, are at least said to have painted their bodies. But the connections between the two races or the same race under different names are too striking and too numerous to require to be detailed. One of these, the milk diet of Lempriere's Scythians, and the milk and blood of his Sarmatians, stands out clearly if we remember that not so very long ago, the Basques in Spain and the Finns in Sweden, now mere wrecks and waifs of the original population, were close neighbors, and that about that period, Europe was overrun by fishermen and hunters, such as we find in Siberia, where we ought to go if we are to study the religion, the manners, and government of the so-called stone folk. With this in mind, then, one is not surprised to find that the Konkani, who once occupied the district now known as the Basque provinces, are said to have lived chiefly on milk mixed with horse's blood. Or that the Nordenskjöld, I forget how to pronounce it, I think it's silent, expedition ascertained that the Siberian tribe of Chukches, as in church like Chukches, are exceedingly fond of a soup of which the principal ingredient is seal's blood. And since the voyage of the Vega has thrown considerable light upon the customs of these people, it may not be out of place to quote further from the account thus obtained. In summer, the Chukches eat cloudberries, red bilberries, and other berries, which are said to be found in great abundance. You're funny with the sock. In the interior of the country. Now, the writers who quote the Chukches as an example of a race living exclusively on substances derived from the animal kingdom, thus commit a complete mistake. On the contrary, they appear at certain seasons of the year to be more graminivorous than any other people I know, and with respect to their taste appears to me to give the anthropologist a hint of certain traits of the mode of life of the people of the Stone Age which have been completely overlooked. To judge from the Chukches, our primitive ancestors by no means so much resemble beasts of prey as they are commonly imagined to have done, and it may perhaps have been the case that bellum omnium, inter omnes, was first brought in with the higher culture of the Bronze or Iron Age. The other descriptions given by the distinguished leader of the expedition relative to the weapons, pottery, and general characteristics of this race, though necessarily meager, are full of interest and point in many ways to their ancient kinship with the primitive inhabitants of Britain. Now, the custom of tattooing, for example, which they have inherited from their Scythian ancestors, has also been handed down to us from the same source and can scarcely be said to be yet extinct among us. While the unpleasant Chuk method of warding off or healing the effects of the frost upon the hands is still practiced by the Scottish peasantry, and this reminds me that the milk diet of the ancient Scythians and the similar food of the old Basques and the modern Chuks found favor also with that branch of the same people who dwelt in certain parts of Britain. At the coming of the Romans, of the Hebrideans of the 1st century, it was reported that they knew nothing of the cultivation of the ground. Speaks volumes. But lived upon fish and milk, which latter, adds Mr. Skene, implies the possession of herds of cattle, a race of fishermen and hunters, and cattle owners, like the Ugrians of Mr. Haworth and Lemperier's Scythians. That's their narrative. Does it mean it's factual? Never means it's factual, people. The sketch given, because the key word, all right, like the Ugrians of Mr. Haworth and Lemperier's Scythians. That means their narrative. Now, the sketch given by the learned author of the Celtic Scotland of the ancient Britons is so much a picture of the Scyths and ogres that it may be briefly quoted here, in addition to what has just been repeated in his account of the Hebrideans. Mr. Skene says they had, it was said, one king who was not allowed to possess property, lest it should lead him to avarice and injustice, or a wife, lest a legitimate family should provoke ambition. In short, they, the Romans, learned that there existed among this new people a state of society similar to that which Caesar reported to have found among the indigenous inhabitants of the interior of Britain. By the interior of Britain is meant the interior, more particularly, of what is now England. But the account which Mr. Skene gives of the ancient Caledonia will suit the supposed aborigines of England as well as the Hebrides. Okay? Now, the manners of the two nations, the Caledoni and the Meete, two confederacies of all the kindred tribes living in central and north central Scotland, at the beginning of the 3rd century, known later on as Picts, are described as the same, and they are viewed by the historians in these respects as if they were but one people. They are said to have neither walls nor cities, as the Romans regarded such, and to have neglected the cultivation of the ground. They lived by pasturage, the chase, and the natural fruits of the earth. The great characteristics of the tribes believed to be indigenous were found to exist among them. They fought in chariots, and to their arms of the sword and shield, as described by Tacitus. They had now added a short spear of peculiar construction, having a brazen knob at the end of the shaft, which they shook to terrify their enemies, and likewise a dagger. They are said to have had community of women, and the whole of their progeny were reared as the joint offspring of each small community. And the third great characteristic, the custom of painting the body, attracted particular notice. They are described as puncturing their bodies so as by a process of tattooing to produce the representation of animals, and to have refrained from clothing in order that what they considered an ornament should be hidden. Any of you ever seen the Japanese, the ancient way that they learned after conquering? Two people conquered the land of Anu, and it became Japan in the 1600s. Are you aware of that tattooing? Also, in a certain islands, whether it's Fiji, I forget which ones, where they have the little bamboo with the needle, with the certain plant needle, and the ink created from plants, and they would beat the back of it with a stick. It's very painful. It would create welts, but the tattoos would be forever embellished. You know, the Samoans and all those, and the, you know. Okay. I'm glad you're staying with me. It may be mentioned also that the nation of the Meete consisted of those tribes which were situated next the wall between the Forth and Clyde on the north. That's what it says. Now, the Caledoni lay beyond them, and Mr. Skene derives Meete from Gaelic mech, Meete, a plain, because this confederacy inhabited the plains and marshes, were in short lake dwellers. For even although the Roman historian had not said so, it is a geological fact that the level stretch of karst land through which the river Forth winds was a morass within comparatively recent times, and it may fairly be presumed that the tribes of the Meete dwelt in those, pile buildings known in Scotland and Ireland as cranagars, the remains of which are found in great numbers throughout these two countries, as well as in Norfolk and in various other parts of Europe. Although the British Scythians appear, you can look that up if you want to see if that's cranogs, something like that, Crannoges, okay? These two countries, as well as in Norfolk and in various other parts of Europe. Would it be a mound? Although the British Scythians appear as painted or tattooed, people from the beginning, they did not receive the general designation of Picts until the 3rd century. So says Annis in his essay on the ancient inhabitants. 5 different people we read talking about these people. Essay on the ancient inhabitants of Scotland. And he adds that the Britons or Welsh called all these northern people their ancient enemies. Phychthead, Pychththead. That's like thick head. Let me look that up. Because curiosity dwells deep, doesn't it? We'll look that one up, another one as well. And we're going to conclude the reading right there. Hold on. Let me pull that up. You know what? I'm going to highlight that too. Whatever the fuck. Alright, let me highlight that word. That is really a wonderful word. I saw it the other day and I really didn't want to go through it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. And then the other one was, and one more. Ah, here we go. I love doing this. We don't have to worry about that word. That's well known. Well, it might be something different, but there we go. Let's put a square around this one. Okay, let me look these up right quick and let me relay it to you. Well, at least let's see what the liars have to say. If they want to be honest about this. All right. Let's type that in. Let's go from the bottom to the top. I'm gonna make sure it is CH right there. Okay. Right? Is that? Damn, it's so dark right here. Oh. That is correct. Okay. It's dark. While I'm reading y'all, it's dark. It might not look like it, but it is. With that light back there, it's dark. So I had it right. Just wanted to make sure. I added too many, yeah. And it is, did it come up? No, it didn't come up. So let's, it's not giving nothing there. And we'll see, it's in Britain or Welsh. I'm gonna do something different here. Nope, I knew they wouldn't. You know, they hide everything. Let's put something in front of this word. Because they make it out to be a theory. No, we all know that black used to mean white. Wow, they really got rid of this word. See, I'm going to share with you what it means. Unless some of you find it out, put it in here. That is not the fucking word. And that is not it. That is not it. Just tap on that. Looks like there aren't many great matches for your search. This is the PDF that I have, because I told you I have the Internet Archives, and that's what it pulled up first thing. Well, it means black people. Okay, let's look up the other one. Yes, I want to definitely look that up. Ah, yes, baby. And there's a, yeah. I want to make sure I got the hyphen over there. A salt or ester of maleic acid. Maleic. A salt or ester of maleic acid used as a non-trillion, yeah, here we go, drug for cycle, no. No. They really destroyed the old world, right? Thank goodness we have these writings. No. No, that is not no L. What are you talking about? Okay, let's go ahead and make sure. See that no, this right here is what we're looking for. The ancient peoples of Ireland and Scotland, meaning noble, assigned both by O'Reilly and Catino, seems to be Columbia mentions and Miete, whom he designates Maete or Mayate. Miete. You heard the Mexican says you're Mayate. You're black. In the beginning, Scotland and Ireland, I've been telling y'all, the original people were Negro. We're just using that term to mean brown people, the original. All right, let's put in one more. Well, it's two more, but we'll put in one more. No, not. What is that? That's not what I put. And that's not a game. Here we go. Tribe. The Picts were a group of people who lived in Britain north of the Fourth Clyde Isthmus in the pre-Viking early Middle Ages. The origin of the Picts is uncertain. Some evidence suggests that they were descendants of pre-Celtic Aborigines, but some linguistic evidence suggests they spoke the Celtic language. The Picts were first noticed in AD 297 when a Roman writer spoke of the Picts in Irish, Scots attacking Hadrian's Wall. And as far as their DNA, the genomes are generally similar to Iron Age population in Britain. See, they won't go with the crayon color because they know they would have to change the narrative. Okay? Small, tightly knit communities consisting of families. It sounds like us. Now, I'm not going to get into the whitewashing of history, okay? Because that's what they do. Anytime you want to see a picture or a painting, they will give you a horse crap load of nonsense because they've eradicated the history, so therefore they must give you something of difference. So whenever you see pale skins walking around with their face all tattooed with blue in the movies and all that, that is not who they are. That is a lie. That is a stolen identity. Once conquering and killing off and raping a woman and creating a new race, all right, of people. The original people, the Picte, were just like the Maete and everyone else. Okay? There are stone carvings in walls. But even that is not the truth. Because they want to say now that they're out of Africa. Trust me, I know about this. They were niggas. Nagas, excuse me. So whenever you hear one of them little monkeys talking about, yo, we was kings and thin shit and all that other stuff, excuse my language. Exactly. Don't listen to none of their lies because their whitewashing is venomous. And they did whitewash because they only wanted it to be for a certain time. Okay? And you can put in the word and look for the carvings, okay? And the carvings will show you they weren't no damn pale skin. That's just the facts. Now, what's the other word? Oh, yes. Here we go. And we'll get right into the next. Oh, here we go. No, that's not how it's spelled. Why did they do that? They gotta be such buttheads, man. They just do this all the time. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we get here, okay? I want to make sure I had it right. I did. Okay. So they removed the E. Let's go ahead and see what we pull up as is. No, see, they removed the E. The pre-buildings, right, are typically a partially or entirely artificial islands, usually built in lakes and estuarine waters of Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. So our people were actually building islands. Okay? Let me highlight this, because when we next get into it, which is going to be really good, we start getting into, I'm going to give some references or sources on the next readings in this. It's going to be pretty interesting. So that way you can also look up these things. I'll spell out whatever needs to be spelled out. We're not in no rush. Okay? Why would I? Okay. It's not mom's. No. Okay. Let's put that on. Oh, yeah, I'm reading this book. So, I was reading it, so I'm about to climb up in the bed when I get done reading, guys. I didn't go nowhere. Okay? Seriously, I didn't go nowhere. All right, so let's get into the Jews. Oh, excuse me. I did show the book, right? My apologies if I did. Now, a genealogical history, Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. Elizabeth Caldwell Hirschman and Donald N. Yates. Okay. Here we go. Let's take it right from, because we've been going through all the surnames and showing that a lot of so-called Mexicans are not all kind of Arab, crypto, and Sephardic, a remnant of an ancient people themselves before even coming here to conquer the lands here. Much of the slack in colonial Jewish studies is taken up by Rabbi Malcolm Stern's American of Jewish descent. Now, remember I expressed to you when they created rabbis and for what? Okay, good. Because that is not our stuff. That is not ours. That is even that Torah to which they run around and all these people swear by. Stop. The Torah is written upon your heart as it is in your mind. Not what somebody delivers and puts there. You must do deep meditation, fasting, and everything else for it to relieve itself upon you. You have so much cloud, darkness. There's enough. Much of the slack in colonial Jewish studies is taken up by Rabbi Malcolm Stern's American of Jewish Descent, 3rd edition, 1991. This is exactly what it says. A compendium of genealogy. But it is also an indispensable source for tracing surnames and the intricate interrelationships among Sephardic merchant families. Included are 25,000 individuals. The appearance of a given surname is a virtual guarantee that the family was Jewish or at least crypto-Jewish. Its spotlight is largely on Sephardic Jews. These are people who are not of Semitic blood, okay? Sephardic Jews, with Ashkenazi families playing only a minor role in the charts. And Stern purposely sets the terminus ad quem, by which families had to be established in North America at the year 1840. Sound like they were preparing for something, right? After that date, it is the Ashkenazim who are in the ascendancy. From 1840, you see the hostility, the takeover. They couldn't stand the fact that we still lived in great numbers and multitudes. Omitting the obviously Hebrew and European Jewish surnames in Stern, some of the surprising entries into the annals of colonial American Jewry include Adams, Alexander, Allen, Andrews, Ball, Aramaic Lord, which is Ball, Burnett from Issachar, Barrett, Blackwell, Brandon, Brown, Bruce, Brent. So whenever I'm talking about Issachar, I'm like, nigga, you're talking about some damn fake ass Jews. Shut up. That's why I can't stand them Hebrew movements, man. Anyway, those are borrowed terms too, but they've been perverted. We can free ourselves from them. They're unrequired. Trust me. For you guys. Anyway. Barrett, Blackwell, Brandon, Brown, Bruce, Bryant, Bush, Callahan, Campbell, Carter, Chesson, Clark, Cooper, a form of Jacob, Cooper is, Davenport, Davis, Port, David, Davis, Delancey, Ellis, Edding, Falk, Forbes, Franklin, Goodman, Goodwin, Gordon, a corruption of Cohen, that is, for Gordon. Now you must understand this too. Those are stolen surnames as well. So I don't want them all to get frackered and frayed. All right? So I'm just saying that in case you're not thinking beyond that. Some of you are very argumentative with no facts. Okay? Anyway. Greg, for example, Greek, a Byzantine, as in Greg. Hamilton, from Hamiltown. Harvey, Hart, similar to German Hirsch. Hawkins, Hayes, Henry Houston, you know, that goofy guy in the wheelchair. Okay. Henry Houston, Howard, from Herod, one of William the Conqueror's retainers. Hunt, Jackson, Johnson, Labatt, Langley, Langlis, English, Lawson, Lewis, Lloyd, Mann, Martin, Spanish warlike, which is Martin. Michaels, Mitchell, Moore, Morrison, yes, Moore, Morrison, Mick Blair, Newberry, another aristocratic Norman name. Newhouse, Newman, Nichols, Phillips, Price, Rice, Robinson. Remember, I used to know a girl named Pamela Bryce and Price. Yeah, all this Prices as well. Robinson, son of Reuben. Rogers, Russell, Shaw, Hebrew letter. Sim, as in Simpson. Okay, Steele, Stewart, Story, Thompson, Valentine, Watson, West, White, Hebrew, Laban, Whitehead, Williams, Wilson, Wood, Yates, yes, as in Dorian Yates. Anagram, YZ, Ger, Zedek. Charles Zedek, you remember those guys talking all that hate shit, right? Righteous Convert, and Young. Of course, the appearance of a surname in this list does not mean that everyone bearing it is Jewish anymore. Then having a name like Cohen necessarily means that person is of Jewish faith or ancestry. I told you, they were stolen surnames. Especially when you come across people with the damn, Lloyd. Come on, that's our shit. Now, I can keep going, but regardless of that, it's just a fact, okay? I mean, come on, Franklin. Come on, dude. Goodwin. For real. Anyway, of Jewish anymore than having a name like Cohen necessarily means that person is of Jewish faith or ancestry. The famous songwriter George M. Cohen claimed he was neither. But inclusion is a clue, and it is instructive that some of the sturdiest Anglo-Saxon sounding surnames, for instance, Yates, make the rolls with multiple entries. Some are even borne by rabbis. Now, recent scholarship has also brought to light the presence of converso Jews among the French colonists in North America. We shall see several of those, such as Arnaud, Alexander, Brandon, Cassell, or Sepp of Clan, who's the guy that played Jesus, right? And Noble. In the British colonies as well, some French Canadian Sephardic names are Hilaire, Bellemare, Bernard, Bilodeau, Bolcher, Bourgois, Casque, Chapinier, Cholet, Dox, Duke, Douglas, Ebel. I'm chopping some of this up. Fossier, because I haven't practiced my French in a long time. Gourvet, Le Fuyer, Le Fond, Le Mont, Le Rachel, Le Blanc, Le Vinge, Lovers, literally. Marion, Martin, Michaud, Moors, again, Moors. Perrier, Palin, Planté, Troitier, Waldron, Vigil, Vizina, and Wisner. Traditional scholarship in the fields, both of genetics and history, has had the effect of dispossessing the Sephardim of their true character and place in Jewish civilization. In world population figures, mind you. Sephardic Jews outnumbered Ashkenaz Jews until about 1800s, with the destruction of Eastern Europe, Jewry, and the Holocaust. They were killing the converts, the Jews who are the Germans, well, the bad guys, not the good ones, who were being led by blind faith, just like many people fight these wars in stupidity. I made it through special forces selection. I became an ODA and a SEAL and a Ranger and PJ and blah, blah, blah. And you're fighting a war for the lie to kill off more of their false creations because they don't create nothing. They slept with some women, some babies came out, and they just happen to have some of their raggedy-ass bloodline, as the majority of them do. Anyway, followed by the founding of the State of Israel, Sephardim, you know, the Belfort Agreement, now defined as included those, think about it, Belfort Agreement. Anyway, those Middle Eastern Jews, like the Yemeni community who have mostly returned to Israel, have begun regaining their prominence. And what did the first thing the damn fake Jews did? They made all the pale skins, these racist dumbass, hate melanated people. So it's easy to go to war and kill melanated people when they're killing some of their own people, the dumbasses. Elizabethan England harbored not only a growing level of pro-Sephardic sentiments, but just as likely a continuing elements of crypto-Jews. Let us proceed now to the first of England's colonies in America to see how Sephardic Jews and crypto-Jews numbered in the vanguard of its leaders as well as rank and file, who had to come and destroy our world, as they did over there. You are some great fucking people. And don't ever let some monkey or some nimwit who doesn't know the truth tell you otherwise. Next, we'll begin in Chapter 3, Virginia, first and not so English colony. And we will be reading this tomorrow. We will. It's Sunday. Fun day. First day of the week. Is it Sunday or is it? Y'all know I don't do time or days, y'all. Yeah. Tomorrow will be the first day of the week. Okay? There's people who actually believe, they believe me now. Don't ask him the time, he don't know. Don't ask him what day of the week is, he don't care. And I'm sitting there going, now people are starting to get it, and realize I really don't. Unless it's inclusive to something that pertains to something, meeting, going someplace, appointments, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Let's get into a little bit of Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. Okay? That's the man right there. So y'all all seen goofy ass, so-called The Witch, Beyonce's goofy ass, being a signal, not to you, because a lot of y'all are too blind to even recognize that, but being a signal for the individuals to know at what time the things were happening. You know? When they had the red horse, her on the red horse on Vogue, and then Maxim with the black, and so on. I think it was the black one. And the white. Remember how that was laid out? And the blue one, the crystal, but it was blue, like water. What was happening at those dates? Why don't y'all Google those dates when those magazines came out and see what was going on in the world? I don't know. I might be wrong, which is cool. Anyway, anytime that the president and Senate make a treaty with a foreign power such as the United Nations, foreign power, which infringes upon or abrogates rights guaranteed to citizens of the USA under the Constitution, the Supreme Court, listen to this, can declare such treaty unconstitutional, void, and of no effect. Of course, the present Supreme Court, being composed of political radicals rather than judicial constitutional experts, is not likely to take such action, unless forced to do so by public opinion and demand. And so, with reference to your statement in printed challenge for November 1961, to the effect that under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 of the Constitution, such treaty, in parentheses, as with the UN, can be made without restriction, limitation, exception, or reservation, irrespective of the fact that it contravenes, violates, infringes, or alienates every article of the Constitution. All that is necessary is for the President and Senate to ratify any treaty, and it is in force. The above, listen to that again. All that is necessary is for the President and Senate to ratify any treaty, and it is in force. That's why I keep telling these goofy niggas talking about Pan-African and falling these dumb motherfuckers if they knew their family's lineage. The treaties of their families, so everybody's not 18 goddamn 66, so stop it. Alright? And say, hey look, you can do all that hookah hakala baka. There was no pale skins here before da da da. And the majority came in 19 da 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 da. And so what are you talking about? This treaty was made with my great-great-great-great-grandpa and ma. And blood, motherfucker. Excuse my language. Back to the reading. Anyway, the above article and clause likewise does not stand alone, but must be constructed in the light of the entire Constitution. Your interpretation is not only to make idiots of the founding fathers, this is what they're doing, okay, and framers of the Constitution, but to say that regardless of the solemn presidential oath of allegiance required by Article 3, Section 2A, regardless of the supreme sovereignty of the U.S., I hate that they put Constitution because the U.S. is not of this land. Constitution, he was still ignorant, and in violation of the explicit language contained in Article 6, for example, this Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties under the authority of the United States, as well as, that's part of the hijack, all right, but ignore it, as well as all authoritative, authoritative rulings by genuine constitutional authorities. Genuine, not agenda-filled. To the effect that anything which contravenes the Constitution of the USA is null and void. So police with your procedures, shove it up your ass if you took an oath to the Constitution. And if you didn't, you better make sure you put it on the news and let motherfuckers know. I'm well versed in this shit. Anyway, just wanted to make sure that y'all got that. Including any such acts by the Congress. Despite all of the foregoing, I reiterate that your interpretation would claim that there is absolutely no constitutional safeguard for the American people against treasonous treaties, which gives aid and comfort to our enemies, as per Article 3, Section 3, right now what this fake-ass government is doing with China. They should be booted out on their ass, but because you niggas is lazy, I'm talking about yellow, brown, red, green, the whole crayon box of niggas. Stuck on who is what and what is who, and y'all ain't even your original selves, dumbasses. Your interpretation would give complete immunity to the maker of such treaties and would constitute changing the Constitution by usurpation, in violation of the intent, spirit, and letter of the Constitution as a whole. The Constitution is supreme, more supreme than the Supreme Court itself. It is a placard placed upon you at birth, not their fake-ass Wizard of Oz, Social Security, and death certificates and everything else. I guarantee you, if 1,000 of you went to the goddamn vital statistics that says, motherfucker, we want our certificates of life. We don't care about them police you call, because we got about 500 more out there who are armed and ready. This is hostile. No, what is hostile is the acts that you are compromising the fucking people of this land, and you bastards should remove yourselves from this office in this building because you are not Americans. Fuck citizenry. That's all I'm going to read right now because I don't want to get y'all too riled up. I'm not. I'm just enjoy this shit. Oh, there's more information. It could get you kind of riled the fuck up if you were actually paying attention to know what's being displayed from the readings. Okay? Hell, they have their own little goofy ass constitution. This bullshit. This shit sounds like pure fucking madness. No, I'm not gonna read it on here. I guess they think nobody knows it. That shit is fucking crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna shout y'all off. I appreciate y'all taking the time. Excuse the language, ladies and brothers. If you had your children to come sitting there, they probably heard worse from you getting drunk on turkey leg day. And probably even more now because you got to get some gifts and shit. Anyway, let me shout y'all off. T. Hines, what's going on, Sidanelv? Beloved. Marcus Williams, grand evening. This is Tardes, right? DeAndre Baldwin, peace, what's going on, beloved? What's happening? Mikey Cox, salute all day, brother. You already know, beloved. Rondo, Ganja up in here, boy, you better start sprinkling some of that magic water on your ass to get up here on time. I know you got the key to the perimeter switch on this motherfucker. Equator 7, salute. What's going on, Naki? Already. Oh, what's going on, beloved? Salute. You already know. That's right. I think Snoosu probably sleep. I ain't seen Mama Red, no. So they've been busy. It's the holiday, so you know it is what it is. No hate for the holidays, y'all. Not for me. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. All those who came over. Any new subscriber, I appreciate y'all. Don't worry, I'm not gonna be too rambunctious. I'm just a person that knows a lot of this stuff. And it's better to read things verbatim when you're reading the book, even though you're aware of some other things. We can always, cross our T's and dot our I's and make sure the Q is standing up on the right leg. If you're looking at it, the left one, you dig what I'm saying? Oh, nobody ever heard of that? Yeah. Make sure that the Q is not going, oh, but actually standing up on his left leg. Okay? Left would be right to you. I know. You know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop. Okay? Anywho, remember when you meet people and they got a whole lot of jibber jab, remind them, bro, I could take you way out there in the water with that BS, and I guarantee you if I threw you off the side of the boat, you so dumb you wouldn't even touch the water. You wouldn't even hit water. Anywho, let me go ahead and get off of here. I'm gonna go down here and make me a salad. Climb up in this bed, put on my, I will show y'all the PJ, but y'all probably crack the fuck up. Men's it ain't for you, ain't enough women in here. So I'm throwing my damn PJ bottoms, get the shirt off, climb up in here, and finish watching this Japanese swordsmith making whatever. I just love that shit. And the story on how the old ancient, I know how they were built, and these new Japanese didn't build them, but they've learned how to work and build them. The original buildings, which was passed off by the Hada people and Anu, who were building them fluently, that didn't have no nails, no screws, no none of that. Okay? And when earthquakes happen, the reason why they're still standing, they move. It's great stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, appreciate y'all. Donation line's still open. I guess we shoot for next week. I don't know. Unless you're going out to drink and get high or whatever, with this, at a time when you really should be thinking about what you're putting in your gullet and in your lungs, all right? But I'm gonna see y'all. Oh, and Rondo, we're gonna chat tomorrow. So we're looking at maybe next weekend or the weekend after. Let's get clear on it so we know and who's gonna come. If Trauma's even thinking about it, because he like to come, pop in and pop out, which is cool. Maybe we see if we get in touch with Westside if you want to do something. You dig what I'm saying? Anybody else who's close by who might want to come through, you know what I'm saying? Get a little cold weather training before it really gets serious. I mean, because Cavito, where I used to live, they've been getting snow. Because I'm used to snow being, around this time. All right? So again, sisters, when you come in, this is for you. Brothers, 2 on the 1. Appreciate you.